Hi, and welcome back to my channel. In today's vlog, this weekly reading vlog, I'm going to try to be finishing out the month of April. Well, obviously, if you see this, I've finished the month, but you know, end of the school year, etc. My background's a little bit different. This is my normal filming location, but things are getting updated in my library room. Currently, it's a bit of a mess. I'm going to do a brief pan. So behind me, this is the shelf that I've had. It's scooted over a little bit so that I could put my two new bookshelves in. And I realized that it makes it dark because I painted, well, my stepdad painted them black. But I'm going to think about getting new lighting. But more on that in my library vlog. Just a brief pan. So that's the bookshelf, my newest bookshelf before these two. The one that my stepdad made me. But we've got the solid black. And we've got, I moved the shelves that I've got to put in. And then we have the desk over there. So maybe it's not as much of a mess as I thought, but it's really coming together. Eventually, I probably will get another bookshelf to go on that wall. For now, the bookshelf is taking the place of the TBR cart, which has moved. And this week, we just have a lot going on with school, so I don't know how much that I'm going to be able to get read. So for once, I have a reasonable TBR for the week. I am going to try to finish, finally, Homegoing by Agassi. I started this like 3 years ago. The bookmark keeps wanting to fall out. I started this morning. I went back to the beginning and was rereading because it had been a while. But I got about as much out of it, out of the first 20 pages, as I would have remembered from my read of those 20 pages 3 years ago because I kept falling asleep. Not a proud fault of the book. Again, first thing in the morning. So Homegoing by Agassi and then Kindred by Octavia Butler. And those are the last two books that I have on my TBR for April. I'm so excited. I've obviously added several more books to my TBR because I think I had 21 written out. I'm already at 23 and the month is still ongoing. As far as audiobooks go, I'm actually going to be able to finish another series because I decided, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and do Assassin's Quest and finish out the Farseer trilogy. But that one is going to take a lot of dedicated work. I'm going to have to get more cross-stitching in and more audiobook time because that thing is 37 hours. But I listened to it at like 2.5 times speed. So I might be able to finish that this week. Now I'm going to go eat some food and do something else. I don't know. My brain's a fog. So it's Tuesday, end of the day. My mom usually asks me how my day has been, and just this end of the year, it's just kind of like, it's been a day. So, it's been a day. Nothing terrible, but also nothing calming and relaxing. Relaxing? See, I can't even talk. Anyway, I have been continuing on with Assassin's Quest on audiobook. And when it started, I wasn't necessarily as much into it, even though I knew I would like it because it would get out of this first part fairly quickly. I still wasn't a fan of this particular part, and I won't say anything because it's the third book in a series, but it's just an aspect of something that has happened to Fitz, and he's the primary narrator, the sole narrator for these stories. It just felt like for a significant portion, I don't know how many pages because I'm listening to an audiobook, his character wasn't making any progress, and it felt like huge steps backward from where everything left off in the previous book. That being said, thankfully it didn't last long and it's now moving on, but Fitz is having to reckon with the ramifications of everything that has happened to him in his very short life. And his character reads a lot older than he actually is. I have been trying to remember how old he is in this. He cannot be more than 18 or somewhere close to that. And everything that has happened to him, assassination attempts, him becoming an assassin, all of this torture and like the things that Galen does with the skill in the first book and him having to deal with that and all of the complicated family relations and things that are going on for him, I can see why people say that being in his head is a lot. And that actually goes with that first bit for him in the book. For him, being in his own head was a lot. And he didn't necessarily want to be in his own head anymore. So things are advancing. The story is different in this book because of the events that happened at the end of book 2. But I have a lot to go. I think I have a little under 30 hours to go. I'm reading quickly because I'm up to 3 times speed. But I'm intrigued. I'm really, really intrigued. And I am loving the stories and Robin Hobb's characterization and her writing style. I cannot wait to read the rest of the series. So I'm having success with the audiobook. And it's not that I'm not having success with homegoing. This book is a lot. And there's a lot that happens in here. And I think this book is categorized as YA. At least that's where I got it. I think it was in my classroom or somebody had it or something. But what I've read so far in 86 pages, there's no way I would keep this in the classroom. I mean, maybe in a high school classroom, but definitely not in a middle school classroom. And this would definitely be one where I would want the student to come talk to me before they picked this book up so I could conference with them and see if they were ready to pick this up. This book is not my favorite story structure, but I knew the structure going in. It doesn't have one main protagonist. So it starts with the stories of these 2 half-sisters and each chapter is not, okay, so there's 2 chapters, one for each. So it starts off with, I don't know who is supposed to be who, but it starts off with 1 chapter for each of these girls. And then every subsequent chapter is, so say it starts with this girl. The 3rd chapter is going to be her descendant, her son or daughter. And then the other one's going to be her son or daughter. And then each 2 chapters is another generation. And I know that by the end of it, we'll come up to more modern days and see where these lines that started off as half-sisters have diverged and what story that tells. And already there's starting to be differences. But it's just a lot. I don't think this is going to be a 5-star read for me, but it's going to be a solid book that I'm glad that I read. Speaking of books that are a lot, since I have started subscribing to all of these different book boxes, I have tried not to watch unboxings of the boxes before I get them, but with Illumicrate and now Fairy Loot, because I'm going to get my first Fairy Loot box soon, hopefully. They are British-based companies, so a lot of the booktubers that I follow that are in Britain, they've gotten their boxes, either like in recent days. Obviously, it's not going to be recent days when this goes up. But they've already gotten their boxes and they're starting to unbox them and put them up. And when this happened before with the Illumicrate, I skipped over it. I tried to do that with one that I just watched today. When I tried to skip over it, skipped right to where she was holding the book up. So I just went ahead and watched the whole thing. So when you see my April unboxings video, I'm not going to be as surprised by the items in the box because I did see the unboxing, but I'll be able to take a quicker look at them, and she did not spend a lot of time. It wasn't a separate unboxing video. But the book in there is one that I have heard a lot about recently, and it's a very impactful book that apparently some booktubers who are white, like myself, have not read the content warnings, not realized what the book was going to be about before they went into it, and just giving it really negative reviews because those things were in there. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. If you don't know what's in the book and then something happens and you're upset that it's in the book, but there was content warnings at the beginning of the book, isn't it your fault that you're upset with it, not the book's fault? So I'm excited that this book is in the box, and I'm not going to say what it is, and you have to watch my unboxing to see, or anybody else's very limited unboxing. I'm really excited that it's in the box because I was thinking about putting it on my TBR, and now because I'll own it, it'll be on my TBR. There's just a lot going on right now, and all I want to do is read, but do I ever actually have the time? So speaking of which, a good friend of mine posted on her stories just this meme that said, life is just a series of obstacles preventing you from reading your book. Yeah, that's how I feel. So I guess I should rebrand what I call these videos, because sometimes they're reading vlogs, they're vlogs, but mostly I'm just in the same spot talking about what I'm reading because I sit in this chair a lot. I have not read much more today. I read in the morning. I'm getting into the habit of that. But I have just been like procrastinating and watching BookTube and etc. because we had state testing today, but not the actual state testing, just a field test where it doesn't count, but we have to do all of the ridiculous things that they have us do. Like move desks and all the, you have to say only this and no electronics and all for a test that doesn't actually measure things accurately. The day was fine. The day was fine with the students. It actually went really well, and they just, I say really well because with these particular children, anytime you tweak their schedule a little bit, they lose their minds. There was one time that we were just switching their second and third periods because there was going to be a reward for one class's homeroom, like a lunch reward, and we wanted to give it to them at lunchtime. They lost their mind. They could not figure out, wait, what? What class do I go to? I'm like, you're literally just switching your second and third period. That's it. I came home. I had just a couple miles it's supposed to be an off day, but because I'm doing a running streak, it's just a couple easy miles. And they felt fine. They felt great. I was going to go to my small group, and it's been a while since I have been, and I didn't go. I stopped going because of some things that happened relating to the pandemic and how certain people in my small group were responding. And I won't go more into that here because, you know, a lot of personal stuff, and this isn't what this channel is about, but it's been a while. And I've never been someone that likes doing something in the evening. I'm an introvert, and I'm with people all day. I have to put forth a lot as a teacher, a lot of people interaction. And so going anywhere in the evening, I don't like it. And admittedly, I have gotten out of the habit because it's been a while. And also with today and just being a testing day, I'm like, no, not gonna go. So I've been watching a lot of BookTube. Wow, that turned into a lot of talking about not reading. Anyway, I have my smoothie and have BookTube up, which is why I took my glasses off. I read about 40-ish pages more of Homegoing. It's reading a lot quicker. It's still, there's just so much stuff that keeps happening to all of these generations. And nothing, or not a lot, seems hopeful, which it's easy to read. It's like real life stories and all that, and I get that. But at the same time, like, I like some positivity in my reads. So we'll see where that one comes out. Still really enjoying Royal Assassin. I don't have much to update with that, and obviously I'm not gonna say anything about the plot because it's the third book in the trilogy. So I just have to decide what I want to read next because All but the last of the Realm of the Elderlings series are available on Hoopla, but also the Daevabad trilogy is available on Hoopla, and I really want to read that. So I have to decide what I'm going to read next. Am I going to finish all of Realm of the Elderlings, or am I going to switch to Daevabad and then go back? We shall see. So I'm getting ready to film some more wrap-up clips. Just got out of the shower. I went to the library today to pick up the one book from my May TBR that I didn't have yet, and also to turn in the book A Wolf for a Spell, which I got through Interlibrary Loan. And in my head, I was like, oh yeah, it was due the 24th. No, it was due the 15th. Yeah, I don't know why they just sent me the notice that it was overdue, because you pay $1 per day that it's overdue. And today is the 28th. Yay. That's just a cherry on top of my day. It was just one of those days at school where the morning went fine. My mornings typically go fine. I love my morning classes. And then come my afternoon classes. Sometimes they're fine, and sometimes they lose their mind and they cannot close their mouths. Today was one of those days. Now, I will say my last period, it's not the whole class. It's just 3 of them. I don't think I could ever teach at like a single gender school, because that class, I have only 3 girls in it. And they're literally the 3 quietest girls I teach. Poor things. I have read a little bit more of Homegoing. It's not going to be a favorite, but it is well written. The fact that Yagasi can have such deep characterization and different characterization for every single member of this generation, that it's phenomenal. It's just absolutely phenomenal. I love it. And I think the fact that these characters are so real is what makes it so difficult to read the book. I will probably finish maybe tonight. I think I'm going to spend some time reading, but I might finish tomorrow, because I think I may just want to unwind and listen to Assassin's Quest, and work on my library and read, because what my plan is, so I'll film this part in my book haul, but my plan is to move this shelf out a little bit, because right now there's overlap of about this much. And so in order to move this shelf at all, I have to take all the books off. I'm going to take all the books off, move this shelf over, probably about to where the mirror is, and then that should cover it. And then I'm going to work on rearranging. And so for a little while, at least, I'm going to have some space on these shelves. That's not going to last long. There's my update for today. Now I'm going to finish filming. I'm going to film the rest of the wrap-up clips that I have, so that by the end of the month, the only wrap-ups that I'll have are probably of Homegoing, Kindred, and Assassin's Quest. So it's Saturday morning. I'm back home a lot earlier than I planned, because we got down to the race yesterday, and as I got out of the car and got my stuff from back, I realized I left my running shoes here in my house, like right over there. Yeah, that you can't run with those. I had only my flip-flops. So we stayed the night in the hotel, would have had to pay for it anyway, and came back this morning. So still have to run 18 miles, but gonna do a brief reading update. I have started Kindred. I already am enjoying the writing style better than Homegoing. And Yagasi and Octavia Butler, different authors, different genres. I mean, the way this book opens with what happens to her right at the start, obviously I'm not going to say anything. I'm like, oh, okay, we're going there. But I really enjoy the writing. I am only 70 pages into it, but even though this book is thicker, like if you were just to hold it next to it, Homegoing, it's about 25 pages less, so I guess it's just thicker paper than Homegoing. So I hope to finish this today. I'm not sure when, because we have a birthday celebration this evening. But I made way more progress on Assassin's Quest. Assassin's Quest really is taking the realm of the Elderlings and breaking it wide open. There is so much going on here that I'm thinking, I have about 7 hours left in the audiobook. how on earth can you answer all of these questions that you've just raised at the end of this trilogy? And obviously, she's not going to answer all of those questions, I don't think, because, there's, like 12, 13 more books in the Realm of the Elderlings still to go, and even 2 more series for Fitz. So I absolutely love everything that she's introducing, and I realize that I use the phrase absolutely love a lot, and I do this with my hands a lot apparently. So I'm really thankful to Mom that she let me play it I brought it down to 2.5 speed, because I guess with the road noise or whatever, not as able to listen to it at 3 times speed as I have been, but still got a lot of the ways in there. And the evolution of certain characters, Fitz, the Fool, even a little bit with Ketterkin, and the introduction of Kettle. Like, I have so many questions about Kettle, and I don't know if we'll get those answers in the remaining bits of the book that I have yet to read. Loving it and hoping to finish it today, even though, I have a lot still left to listen to, but I hope to be able to do that at 3 times speed, since I'll be home without like road noise and stuff in the car. But gotta get my 18 miles in first. Since I have everything set up over here, I just filmed the last of my wrap-up clips and took the thumbnail. That was interesting because I had to hold all of these, or try to hold all of those books up, and that does not even include all the books that I read as audiobook. I ended up reading 2 more books yesterday. I haven't decided what I'm going to start today, but I think I'm going to focus on getting my to-do list stuff done so that I don't feel overwhelmed going into next week. And the reading vlogs probably are going to be a little bit shorter through the next 4 weeks or so, as the school year is wrapping up and things are changing and lots going on and all of that stuff. Obviously, this week in this reading vlog, I talk a lot more about school than I have in others, but it's just ever present. So there you have it. There is my reading vlog for the last week of April. In April, I ended up participating in 3 different readathons. My first reading vlog of the month was bookended with Pokeathon and Peace Talks for Realmathon. I still need to put in all of my books for Realmathon and for Magical Readathon, and I'm really loving those. I can't wait for the fall equinox semester for Magical Readathon. I think it's going to be great. Finished off the month in a way that I am very happy about, because when you finish off the month with a 5-star read, as Assassin's Quest was, you send off the month in a very good way. And I'm so incoherent because I have been talking and listening to myself and editing. So I'm going to wrap up the vlog here, and I will see you in the next one.